Hello, Sergeant, and welcome to Transport Fever Blitz. Transport Fever 2 is coming out later in the year, so this is a fantastic excuse to finally bring out a series of videos that I have had in my mind for over 2 years now. Transport Fever Blitz is a uniquely themed Transport Fever playthrough that is going to see me building the city of London up into a proper capital city before the year 1940. The Blitz was one of the largest aerial bombardment campaigns in history, and the challenge in this series is to build up a massive capital city and make sure that by 1940 we have all of the required transport links to evacuate the population. But it's not only about the population. We also need to make sure that London is supplied with a sufficient amount of goods to grow substantially. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Transport Fever Blitz. That's right, folks. Welcome to the first episode of Transport Fever Blitz. I'll be your host, Orbital Potato, as we dive into this wonderful world that we have spawned in front of us. So, yes, as I talked about, aims and objectives of this series, growing London into a mega city. That's definitely our first priority and something that we need to accomplish within a predetermined time frame. Now, in order to do that, we are going to need money. And is the government going to be funding us in this endeavor to grow London into a massive mega city? Well, no. No, the government is not going to be doing that. So we've actually got $2 million dues to spend here. We can take out a little bit of a loan. We can take out a loan of up to 10 million, as we usually can. However, I'm kind of hopeful that we will not have to, and we're hopefully going to make loads and loads of money over the course of this series. Obviously, we're somewhat limited with the time that we've got, but that's not going to stop us from trying. Anyway, yes, so my initial conception of how we're going to make a whole bunch of money to fund this entire series is starting small, starting traditional, starting with the fundamentals. We're gonna be making some bus routes. That's literally it. We're gonna be making some bus routes. Now, what immediately sticks out to me is that we are very, very fortunate to have a whole bunch of different population centres that are already pre-built for us. London, Luton, Reading, Guildford, Brighton, Royal Tunbridge Wells, Chelmsford, Ipswich, etc. We've got loads of these places around. However, none of them are particularly big. And also there is no connections between them. These guys are all completely disconnected from each other. So it actually means that when we place our bus routes, we're also going to need to place the prerequisite infrastructure to allow the buses to commute from one town to another. Now, that in itself will require some rough planning, and let me take you through the rough plan that I have thought up with regards to buses. So, currently, we don't have any connections. However, we've got to be very, very careful with regards to what roads we put around London, because London is going to grow. Now, I don't know if the AI likes to build bridges across rivers in order to grow out the city. I believe it does, but we'll have to see how the AI decides to expand London and in what direction. However, if we want to build a road to Luton, from Luton to London, then we're going to need to make sure that whatever road we do build doesn't interfere with the future growth of London, because things are going to get very, very congested around here. If you think about it, London has got eight or nine terminal train stations at the moment. Now, I don't suspect that we'll have as many as 8 or 9 terminal train stations. However, we're definitely going to have one. We're going to have a King's Cross. We're going to have the other ones, Waterloo for the ones, the south, the other ones, the Liverpool Street, Fenchurch. Not really sure if I'm just naming tube stations or actual terminal stations, but the point is that we're going to have a lot of terminal stations all around London. In order to accommodate all of the future trains that are going to be arriving from all over the country. So yeah, we're gonna need to build the road network around London with that in mind. And honestly, it's a pretty darn good starting page that we've got here. So I think that what we're probably going to end up doing is just using the small country roads at the moment. 40 kilometers per hour is the maximum speed limit for that. So I think that we probably want to connect up a bunch of towns and cities with small country roads so that we can connect some bus routes between these cities. I'm conscious of the fact that I want a lot of the bus routes to end in London. However, there's only going to be a limited number of people that are going to want to come to London. If we build a route between Cambridge, Luton, and London, then there's going to be some people that want to go from Cambridge to Luton but don't want to go to London. Then there's going to be people that want to go from London to Luton, onto Cambridge, etc. You get the picture. The point is that we need to make ourselves a road network that doesn't limit the growth of London but also allows us to link in a bunch of towns. So I think one of the most important connections that we can make is going to be the Luton to London road. Now, I am aware of the fact that we maybe should be using slightly better, higher quality street for this bit of track, or for this bit of road, should I say. However, I'm going to do it all in small country road, and then we'll upgrade it as we go. We can easily upgrade it to a small street or a medium street or whatever if we need to. Maybe I should make this medium. No, you know what? I'm not going to worry about it too much. I'm not going to worry about it too much for now, because what we really need to keep in mind is that we do not have the money. We do not have the money. We got to play things very, very safe, because this 10 million needs to go us a long way. So for the first route here, we're going to be very, very careful. We're not going to let the computer calculate me any super expensive, massive routes that end up costing loads and loads of money. We're going to do it piece by piece, chunk by chunk, easy-ozy, just like that. All right, perfect. So that, I think, is going to be one of the most important connections that we make just in the game in general. So let's go and set up a bus/tram stop. See, look at this. With one single bus/tram stop, we can actually get almost the entirety of London covered. And I imagine pretty much every other place we go to, we will also be able to blanket the entire town. So that's pretty darn good. So I think that this is what we're just going to have to do for a whole bunch of little cities. What I would like to see happen is like a Luton Corridor. So in my mind, what I'm seeing is Norwich, Bury St Edmunds. Is that even how you say it? I've literally never heard of that place before in my entire life. Cambridge, Luton, Oxford, Swindon, and Bristol. Now, these guys, I think, will form what will be known from here on in as the Luton Corridor. So we're going to have a big old road connecting Bristol to Swindon to Oxford to Luton to Cambridge to Bury St Edmunds and to Norwich. And that way, all of the traffic that wants to go to London can feed down this single road. That's rather than having a road from London to Oxford, or London to Reading, or London to Guildford. we'll just have it all running through this single road. Now, I'm not anticipating that this will be the only connection that we make into London during the course of this entire playthrough, but I'm thinking that maybe if we want to make sure that we're leaving the appropriate amount of space, we're leaving London room to grow, maybe with one road, maybe one road is absolutely adequate. It's worth noting that we also have the ability in time to put down industries near London, so we need to absolutely keep in mind that we're gonna want to place perhaps an industry or two around London if we cannot find a nearby industry to supply London with the goods that are required. So we need to keep all of this in mind as we're going forward. However, I think what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to create the Luton Corridor, and then I'm going to get a whole bunch of buses, and I'm going to set up a bunch of bus routes from town to town in order to make us a little bit of money. Let's get to it. And just like that, the Luton Corridor is officially finished. Right, so we've plumbed in all of the network that is required for now anyway. A little bit of a pain to do, just basically buying $3,000 chunks of road across the entirety of the map. Spent, a fair chunk of money on roads, but that still leaves us about 1.6 million to spend on a whole bunch of stagecoaches. Now, what I'm thinking of doing is maybe trying to distribute the distribution process of the stagecoaches. I'm quite conscious that this is a road network that literally spans the country from west to east. So maybe just sticking a road depot in Luton might not be the best idea. So why don't we have like a Cambridge depot between Cambridge and Bury St Edmunds, and then like an Oxford depot between Swindon and Oxford. I think that, to be honest, 2 depots, it's an extra little bit of expenditure, although I think it might just be alright given the circumstances. Right. Sure. And we'll connect it up with a little bit of Old Country Road. Oh, not Old Country Road, Small Country Road, silly me. And yeah, another one. Right over here. It's always much cheaper to place the depot and then connect the road up manually. Look, just min-maxing that. That's 1.7 instead of 1.73 instead of 1.78 right there. So that's quite a big cost saving, It all adds up. I got to be honest, it all adds up, and we've got to be accounting for every single last penny. Okay, so next stage, let's go and make sure that we've got a bus station in every single town. Ooh, it looks like Bristol. I was going to say Bristol might just be too large. However, nope, that is in fact not true. Bristol is still fine just to have one bus stop. There we go. Let's get that down over there. One in Bury St Edmunds. And then one all the way over in Norwich. Presumably this little stretch of country road is the stretch of road that started the city, or the city is built around. I don't know about that, but hey-ho. Anyway, now begins the real fun, or at least the real fun for me anyway, and that is to set up a whole bunch of bus routes between all of these different cities. Now, that's not something that I will force you to endure, so let's get cracking. The first of many monstrosities to be created, I highly suspect. So what I've done is I have adopted a consistent naming scheme, which is honestly the first hurdle in any massive infrastructure project. All of these routes are going to be referred to as the Luton Corridor. Luton Corridor, Bristol to London to Norwich, Luton Corridor, Bristol to Swindon, etc, etc, etc. I've adopted a fairly standardized approach where I think what we're going to end up doing is having a bus route between each city to each neighboring city, and then one route which has presumably a fair few more cars or more stagecoaches on it. So, we might have 2 stagecoaches on a regular you know, Luton Corridor route between Bristol and Swindon, for example, but we might have 5 or 6 on the Bristol-London-Norwich route. So that's what I'm kind of looking forward to doing. Now what we need to do is make sure that we buy enough vehicles for all of the routes that we've got. Now, this is going to be the expensive part. There we go. Okay, we've already got one. We already have one. Now, I'm thinking probably about two per route. The Bristol to Swindon route in particular, we'll make sure that we get 2. There we go. Give you a second one. Then the Cambridge to Bury St Edmunds, that can be done from over there. Cambridge to Luton, that can be done from over there. Oxford to Luton can be these two carriages right here. Oxford to Luton and Oxford to Luton. Perfect. Right, buy a bunch more. And then we want Swindon to Oxford, Swindon to Ox. Let's get those two. Let's get those 2 done as well. Perfect. What else? What do we get? What else we got over here? Cambridge to... No. I suppose we can probably equip the orange route here as well. We're going to need to buy a couple more vehicles for that. As I sort of said, I wanted to have slightly more on this route. Although I probably want to stagger their release from the depot here. So we'll keep that in mind as we go. But for now, let's equip 2 carriages to that route there. Then the rest of these road vehicles we will leave in the Oxford Road depot for now. And then we will switch on over to the Cambridge Road depot. And we'll buy a butt ton of things here as well. Like, there we go. 8 seems like plenty. And these 2 guys, these can go on the Cambridge to Bury St Edmunds. I still wish I knew where Bury St Edmunds was. I'm assuming that the fact that it appears on the map over here makes me suspect that it is in the rough vicinity of the east coast of England, east coast of southern England, southeast coast of England. Is that southeast? Is this southeast of England? If this is the Midlands, to be honest, I couldn't tell you where the Midlands are. That's really bad of me, but my English geography is absolutely shocking. Absolutely abysmal, I've got to be honest. So, in actuality, this series is a learning experience for me, as much as it is an enjoyable, fun time to have for everyone, right? It's an enjoyable experience for me to play as I learn how to play, and also where things are. So the frequency of some of these routes is highly questionable, I would say. Some of the longer ones are 11 or 12 minutes. That's not too bad. 59 minutes is not so great. In fact, I'm thinking that maybe we don't do that with just 2 vehicles on there. I mean, if I was to assign all of these vehicles to that line right now, that would change the frequency, would it? Yeah, that would bring the frequency down to about 10. I think that we probably want to maybe speed up the system a little bit more than that. Maybe try and get, you know, a few more vehicles on the line, just in general, on each specific line. Then we won't really have to worry about too many passenger delays. Right, let's get these guys. I don't want to set them all. I just want to set a couple. Put these guys both on the Bristol-Swindon line. Right, there we go. And that takes it down to about 6 minutes, 5 minutes, 4 minutes and 48 seconds. To be honest, I think that round about 5 minutes is what we should be aiming for all of our routes. So we're gonna try and shoot for 5 minutes across all of our routes and hope that that makes some difference. We want Swindon to Oxford. Yep. And another Swindon to Oxford. That takes it down to 4 minutes, which is actually pretty darn good. Yeah. That's lovely. Teething problems, you know? And we've got to be honest with ourselves, right? This is an ambitious infrastructure project that we're currently undertaking. So we're not going to get it right first time. Probably not even going to get it right second time. But maybe third or fourth time, we might start to get a little bit of a clearer picture of exactly what's going wrong. Okay, so that's 6 stagecoaches on that route right there. London to Luton. We can get some more London to Luton vehicles here. That's actually the most important. That is the most important line. So let's put as many as we possibly can on the London to Luton line. 134 seconds right there. That's pretty glorious, to be honest. I'm going to buy one more for Swindon. The Bristol to Swindon route. There we go. Might take it down to 4 minutes. Beautiful. And then the rest of the upgrading we can do over here. We're almost ready to unleash the hounds. And by unleash the hounds, I very much mean release the horses and the stagecoach from the depots. It's pretty much that simple. Okay. I should probably just do it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and do that there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Set line Cambridge to Burnley, St Edmunds, whatever the case, that's fine. It still leaves us with a 20 minute frequency over here, which I don't love, but you know what? It's kind of fine for now. I'm not going to worry about it too much. That's the ambitious route. That's the scenic route. That's the route that you take if you're not in a hurry. If you don't want to get to London super direct, you just take it. It's chill. Ironically, that is actually the express route as well. However, because there are so few carriages on that route, it makes it more direct. It is a more direct route. You have to change less in order to get from Bristol to London. You just hop on the orange line and boom, 20 minutes later you're going to be in London. Well, 10 minutes later presumably, because it's halfway, whatever. But if you wanted to go from Bristol to Swindon, Swindon to Oxford, Oxford to Luton, Luton to London, then you could, and you could do it shorter. You could do it in a shorter amount of time as well. But that doesn't particularly matter for this argument. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to unpause. We've got just less than $1 million in the bank at present. As we can see, a little bit of a breakdown of where we spent our money. Most of it has been on roads. Yeah, most of it's been on construction, but there's another significant amount that we've spent on vehicles. So, there you go. Yeah, that's not too bad. Hold on, why is it saying that I've spent 373,000 on tracks? Have I bought tram lines anywhere? I don't think so. Alright, whatever. Let's go. Let's zoom in and let's see all of these stagecoaches disperse. Now, things will be slow to get started. I'm aware of that fact. We're playing with the mod that makes everything 4 times slower, but that's not a problem, because that just enhances the scenery. It enhances the scenery and it enhances the scenic route. You know, the LC Bristol, London, Norwich must already be ungodly slow, but imagine doing it at a quarter of regular speed. It would be an experience that you have to pay for, believe it or not. But there you go. So in order for the passengers to start flocking to our bus stations, we need a bus to actually arrive there first. So it's going to be a little while before all of the buses arrive in the locations that they are supposed to, but that's not a problem because it looks like everything is going remarkably smoothly, apart from already The world's biggest traffic jam. Look. How did this happen? How did this happen? Look at how many horses there are here. That's incredible. How many wagons do you reckon that is? Comment down below. Let me know how many wagons you think that is. I think that is... I think that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 or 10 wagons. 9 or 10 wagons, that is my bet. Maybe more, to be honest. Well, that is a Christmas miracle. Miracle? Miracle. Yeah, it's a Christmas miracle, or should I say a Christmas horror. But hopefully it'll be fine. Yeah. Now, we got to keep in mind that we are going to start having running costs. Now, what are the running costs of a stagecoach? Running costs are 2.29 thousand per year, so if you times that by I don't even know how many stagecoaches we actually have. Well, like 50? I mean, we can buy one stagecoach, right? Okay, we got 46. So 45 times 2.29. Do the maths on that. That's how much it's going to cost for us to run this network over the course of 1 year. But thankfully, we're not super desperate for cash, at least not yet. And we've got access to that money, which is of course fine. Have the first buses started to arrive at their stops? Cambridge to Luton. This is Cambridge. It does indeed look like we're going to have our first stop. How exciting. Oh boy, that's wonderful. Okay, so the Cambridge to Burleigh St Edmunds has officially happened, which now means that we are going to start to see people accruing at the bus station, which is just the most glorious thing in the world. When we transport our first passenger, I'll be sure to let you know, but it could be a little while, given that demand will be low. Also, I don't want to cause any traffic jams, but if we do cause any traffic jams, then I will be shocked. Genuinely very shocked. But oh my goodness, how many? It's like a procession. Look at all of these vehicles coming through Oxford. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, this is kind of bonkers actually. All right, well that's pretty darn cool. I don't regret putting a depot just outside Oxford. It's definitely going to help. It's definitely going to help. What I think we'll do is we'll play forward a little bit, and we'll start to see if we do actually make any money. Now, I'm not super hopeful that we're going to be making money straight off the bat. It's going to take us, a little bit in order to build up the engine. We're about to tick down. Our first expenses will come out now. All right, that wasn't actually that bad. That was only what, like 13,000 or something. Running costs. It was only 8,500. That's not too bad at all. I've not seen any passengers pop up yet, but I'm conscious of the fact that it's going to be happening at any moment. It's going to be happening at any moment. All we need to do is keep an eye out for the people waiting at the bus stations, and it will eventually happen once all of our buses have arrived and we've actually managed to let people know that we are here. We're here. We're going to stay here. We're not going anywhere. All right, so let's zip forward a little bit and see where we are in July or August. Why not? Yes. We have our first customer. In fact, we have our first customers. It didn't even take us until July. I gotta be honest, I am shocked and amazed. So we've got this lovely person down in Swindon. Is it you? Are you waiting? I think it might be you, Erin. Alright, well, thank you very much for being the first customer. I wish I could offer you, like, a discount or something, or maybe a special deal, but to be honest, there are two problems with that. First of all, I need the money, and so therefore I can't offer you a discount, and second of all, why would I ever give you a discount? You're paying me to ride on the bus. Also, another fine fella, or fillet. Don't know if that's really a word, but it is now, I guess. Is it you? Yes, it is you. You are going to the shop. You're going to the shop in Luton. Wonderful. Alright, great. Fantastic. We've already got someone waiting in London. I tell you, this is the seed with which all great things blossom. Now, obviously, it's going to take a little while to transport all of these people to where they need to be transported. But that's still pretty good. I'm still pretty happy with the fact that we are now about to make money, which is just absolutely wonderful. $163 worth of income. I knew it was going to be small. I didn't know it was going to be that small. Yeah, story of my life. But in all seriousness, that's pretty darn good. I'm pretty happy with the speed at which that actually happened. Now, we've got to bear in mind is that we've had to shell out a fair bit in running costs, and we're about to shell out just a little bit more as the month ticks over. However, on the whole, that's not too bad at all. That's not too bad at all, and it's definitely, you know, it's definitely a step in the right direction. It's a step towards profitability, which makes me very, very happy indeed. Now, this is the Luton Corridor, and it's an area that I think will probably be the foundational area for the entirety of our series, really. We're going to be focusing very, very heavily on the Luton Corridor. However, that doesn't mean that I want to abandon the other parts of the country, which have interesting geography, interesting cities, etc. So what I'm thinking we're going to do, I think I'll probably do it off camera. However, I will be sure to report back in at the start of the next episode about the success of it. I think we're going to make the Birmingham Pentagram, which is going to be a connection, a road connection from each of these 5 cities, just in the way that I'm illustrating on screen right now. Birmingham to Leicester, Leicester to Northampton, Northampton to Banbury, Banbury to that city, and then that city to Birmingham. So that's what we're going to do, the Birmingham Pentagram, and we're going to have a similar sort of setup as to what we've got going on over here. So that's what I'm going to be getting to work with in between episodes. I will make sure that the game is appropriately paused so that we can continue. So that we can continue together in the next episode. But for now, I think that that's a pretty darn good place to leave the first episode of Transport Fever Blitz. It's a slow start, but it always has to be. It's always got to be slow and steady at the start of a Transport Fever game. If you don't get the fundamentals down, then you just set yourself up for failure later down the road. So that is it. The first episode of Transport Fever Blitz is done and dusted. I'm super, super glad that I could finally turn this idea from an idea into an actual series of videos. What are we going to do in the next one? What do you think we should do? Please let me know in the comments what you think. I'm thinking that maybe we start with the East Coast main line, start with King's Cross Station and work our way up out of London. But I don't know. That's just an idea. Please let me know what you're thinking. Folks, thank you very much for watching. I've been Orbital Potato. I'll see you next time.